Thank you for joining me on the podcast.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, man.
Dom, do you know D-Love?
Yeah, so we follow each other on TikTok. So I would say it's definitely one of those situations where like pandemic introduced me to someone new.
Yeah.
We follow each other on TikTok. We were jamming. I was working on a project. He was like, "Would you be interested in coming on my boy's podcast?" I was like, "Of course."
That's cool. Have you ever done a podcast interview before?
I have. I've done a few, so like number three. But yeah, definitely trying to do a few more.
That's cool. I saw on your page you start your own podcast or you did like a podcast or something?
Yeah, so I did. I started with my boy, and we were running strong for a bit, but with a podcast, with anything, consistency is key. So
Hmm.
it definitely started falling by the wayside, and then schedule conflict. So decided to exit, but it's definitely on the roadmap to come back. But podcast game is hard.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit harder, I guess, but then there's some people that do super simple stuff where it's like they just put their phone up and they just crank episodes. There's people who do audio only, so you don't have to have like a whole system. It's just as long as you stay consistent. I think that's number one with any social media, just staying consistent.
No, it's facts. I'm curious, like how's it been for you with like growing? Like how's that been?
So 2019, that was like my biggest year for social media
Yeah.
on YouTube. I got like probably in that year like 2 million views on my videos and everything was going good. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go hard in 2020. 2020 is
Yeah.
gonna be the year, and then everything just came down. So podcasting, I kind of slowed down just because the pandemic couldn't do podcasts with people. Most of my podcasts were with people. I didn't do Zoom podcast. And during the pandemic, I tried a couple Zoom podcasts and I just wasn't in the right place. I'm pretty sure like most people, it just didn't feel right making content. I always had this like, am I gonna make a video? And it's like, do people even care? There's people dying every day. We're trying to find the latest news. I just didn't feel right. I don't know. I was like in a bad place. So 2020 was kind of, took that year off, and then, trying to bring it back this year. And now I'm trying to be more, like you said, consistent. So my boy is helping me get guests for the podcast, take it more seriously and actually commit time to it, because if I don't do that, then I'm never going to be consistent with it.
No, I hear you. And I think like, I mean, listen, 2020 was hard for anyone. If you are a human, 2020 it's like was a hard ass year. So hats off for like getting back in the ring and all that. So I'll definitely hear that. So, but happy to be a guest.
Yeah, it's we just gotta like, it was rock bottom for everything. So I guess
Yeah.
now we're just slowly getting back to where it was and learning from it. The people that survived it, we kind of have to keep pushing forward. And so I saw your Instagram page and you do a lot of like motivational like type content on your reels and stuff. So what like motivates you?
Ooh, so I grew up playing sports. So for me, it's always just like being better. To me, it's like, how do I continue to improve myself? Like, how far can I go? How much can I grow as a person? So for me, it's just like, I'm really competitive. I'm also glad my girl's competitive. One of those things is just like, if I'm growing, she's growing and vice versa. It's just one of those situations where for me, it's how do I become better at, whether it's a better writer, whether it's better at content, whether it's better in the gym, like what can I do to improve myself? And then it's like, once you see that improvement, it's like, well, wait, how far can this go? So I think it's really just remembering overcoming past growth challenges and then seeing like how that has shaped me and given me skill sets, experience beyond what I would have assumed would be possible, and just trying to keep it going. So yeah, it's really just a constant state of competition with myself.
Yeah, getting better every day. And
Oh
what
man.
what what you said grew up from playing sports. What sports did you play?
So I played lacrosse and soccer.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I mean, soccer, I loved it, but it's something I always say, like life is like about throwing a punch and taking a punch.
Hmm.
So there's some like the physical aspect, like of being able to like not only just have the footwork and the hand skills, but like the like being able to check and body check. It was a tough sport, so I loved it and played that until high school. And then I would say after that, the only sport I was doing pre-pandemic was jujitsu. But
Oh, nice.
with the way COVID is, I don't really want anyone sweating on me, so I'll pass on
I
that.
saw that some people with jujitsu, they were still trying to do like online jujitsu classes that you could order like one of those like a dummy, and
Yeah.
then you practice the moves in the dummy and then the coach is like watching you through the computer or something. I was just like, I don't know if that counts. That's kind of weird.
You know what? Like, I think one of the things is just that COVID threw a curveball and everything. So hats off to them for being able to stick with it, because anyone could submit a dummy. Like anyone can, but like, listen, the fact that they stayed sharp, they had a coach, like, I'm not even going to knock it. It's definitely a little out there, but you just gotta adapt.
That's true. I mean, it's hard to take a year off, you know, if because it's like you said, it's about consistency. And I've only done maybe 3 jujitsu classes. I never
Oh,
really,
nice.
yeah, I've tried it a couple of times. I never committed to it, but I've always been interested. I know that eventually, I keep saying that, but one day I want to be able to do a little bit, like at least once or maybe twice a week.
No, it's a great experience, and I think everyone should do like some form of martial art, whatever it is for you, but it definitely teaches you a lot, similar to like sports and whatnot.
Do you still follow soccer? Going back to soccer, so do you watch the Champions League today?
I didn't. That's more my brother watches more than me. Like I don't know what happened. Like I played, but I don't watch, and he didn't play, but he watches. So I haven't, but I don't even really have a favorite team, but when it's on, I watch it, but I don't really keep
just the
up.
big tournaments. Yeah, today was Manchester City versus PSG. They the semifinal, and Manchester City won. So now I didn't watch the game either because I was working, but I got to see the highlights. So that's what I was asking.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I know Manchester City. I don't really know the other squad, so that just shows you how much I know.
No, it's a fun sport. I played it a lot as a kid. So growing up playing soccer, because I'm Mexican, so that's all we did. You know, you just play soccer. I didn't, but I was always a bigger dude, so I never got to play like high school or anything. So I played football in high school. Ended up learning about football like late. I didn't grow up like with football. I grew up with soccer, and then after playing football in high school, I played a couple years of community college football. So I really got into football a lot, but soccer's still there. Like I might not watch it every game, or but once in a while, once it comes to the championship rounds and the big games, I always gotta watch.
No, I got you. I got you.
And okay, so tell us a little bit about your newsletter.
Oh yeah, so I run a company called Creator Crew, a media company as well as consulting for brand creators. But it's really I write about people like yourself, like creators. So people who make content, who've developed these followings, and who have like a unique skill set that they create content on. They build an audience, and it's really just focused on the creator economy, which in short is people who create content and use that to build a sustainable lifestyle and a business. So anything from someone who's like Mr. Beast, who's got crazy amount of subs, to the mom blogger who knits, who has, maybe 10, 20K followers, but she's releasing her knitting course and she has her own community. It's really focusing on the people and the companies and platforms that are building to support them.
Okay. And is that a weekly, monthly, or how does that work?
It's weekly. So right now, every Friday, but we're going to roll out more content. So YouTube channel coming, and now it's going to be twice a week, so Wednesdays and Fridays, and then let's see how that pace goes, and then increase it to Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Is it just like a spotlight for a new creator every time, or how, like, what consists of part of this newsletter?
So it's definitely latest news and updates. So anything from like Facebook and Instagram announcing that they're going to be releasing new tools for creators, to a company like Chavez that recently raced around, to even profiles on different creators. So it's really just news, updates, and insights on the creator economy, and trying to do more profiles. But that's just something in the skill set that needs to be flexed a little bit, but more on the analysis, business side, market side. So it really caters to the creators who are focused more on growing their business, and the founders, investors who are active on the creator economy, trying to stay in the space and focusing on the company side. So I'm trying to.
So you're pretty familiar with, like, so you say you'll bring out the latest tools, for example, Facebook, Instagram. Do you keep up? Are you very familiar how to like hack the algorithm? Because I know there's so much that goes into creating content. Well, there's creating content and there's how do you optimize it. So you're really well versed into that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, and algorithms change all the time. So it's really just to keep myself sharp, that's why I create content and try to experiment with it, because if you're not practicing what you preach, and why should anyone listen? But it's really focused on, I mean, there's some people in the space that, they just live on how do I optimize on TikTok, and I try to keep it what's the latest updates to the algorithm? What are things that you could be doing to see more followers or something that you improve on your content? So it's really just focusing on what's working with different platforms. But I would not be able to tell you, listen, use this hashtag on Instagram because you're guaranteed to get X amount of followers. Like, that's not me, but it's more macro strategy, I would say. Than
What's your favorite platform? TikTok, Instagram, Facebook? What is it?
So I'm biased. So like when talking about myself, Twitter. I love Twitter. Twitter and then YouTube are my top two. But I will say I like TikTok because it's short. It's really easy to go down a rabbit hole. And then some of the people on there are really creative. Like you don't see that level of creativity. You're not going to see it on Instagram. And if you do, it's just because they reposted their TikTok.
Yeah.
But I like that aspect about TikTok. I think it's a really interesting platform, really great platform. And it'll be interesting to see how it grows.
What kind of TikTok videos do you post on there? Do you post the same stuff that I saw? Because I checked out your Instagram with you post those Instagram reels, kind of like telling people like motivation, tactic, and tips. Do you do the same thing on TikTok?
Not as much. So TikTok, I try to focus more on tactical advice. So TikTok, funny enough, has been a good driver for business. So, there are a lot of creators, there are a lot of people who became, TikTok famous overnight. So I tend to try to focus more on, like, if you watch a video on my channel, you'll get something tangible out of it. Instagram is a little loosey-goosey. It's just kind of like, I'm not a big fan of the platform. I post on it, but that's why that content to be a little bit more motivational, some reels. But TikTok is all about, like, how do I provide value in 15 to 30 seconds so that you either follow or you subscribe for the newsletter or you send me a DM to say, let's work together.
Okay. And so what's your end goal with like the newsletter, or what's like do you have like a plan to keep building your brand behind this? Do you want to, you say you're launching a YouTube channel. Do you think you're going to get back on the podcast? Do you have like I know it all takes a lot of steps because it's hard to even do one thing, and that you have a newsletter, that's already pretty impressive, because I couldn't imagine, like, that's a lot of work that you got to research, like put in, and then you're doing two a week now. You're going to be doing a lot of research and writing and pushing it. So what's like your overall plan?
I mean, no one's ever been upset about having an audience. So, just continue to build an audience, build relationships, because, the larger your audience grows, the more opportunity you have to get to people that maybe you only watch on TV or stream. So really focusing on building that. And the end game, it's like, one, I enjoy writing the newsletter. So it's really just, how do I continue to creating content so that that becomes a revenue stream that I can live off of and something that I enjoy. So it's not an easy answer right now. It's just keep providing value, keep growing, and seeing when it stalls out or when I get tired of it. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. But yeah.
You gotta have some passion, and you gotta not be afraid to change. So for my personal brand, I've changed a lot. I've done all kinds of different videos on YouTube. So the first videos that I created, so I'll take it back. So 2007 is my first YouTube video ever, when I was a kid, like in high school. It was nothing. It was just from 2007 to like 2014. Yeah. I uploaded maybe like 10 videos, and they were all random, like with my friends, a football highlight here, some Call of Duty video here. I never really considered becoming like a YouTuber or a content creator. Then in 2015, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back on YouTube, because I still had my channel from way back when. And I decided to start making content. So I didn't know what to do. I was like, what am I going to do? So for my job back then, I was doing a lot of driving. I was going out of town driving. So I'm in the Coachella Valley. So I would drive to LA or drive to Irvine, drive to Anaheim. So it was like 4 or 5 hours on the road, and listening to music just got boring. So I started listening to audiobooks and listening to podcasts, and that's how I kind of got into that. So every time I wanted to read a new book, I would go watch YouTube reviews of books. And then since I was reading a lot of books, I was like, why don't I do my own reviews? And that's how I started my content, book reviews. Then we started doing like movie reviews and movie trailers, and then Coachella content and podcasts. It's like, it's always been just keep going, see what you like, and you can do something for a couple of years, 6 months to 2 weeks. And if you don't like it, I mean, might as well move on to the next thing. I think you do have to stay consistent and try to at least try it for a while. Don't just give up after 1 or 2 videos, because you're never going to get any results. But it is important to always keep trying. If you don't like the way you're doing something, just try something different, you know?
I mean, you just hit on a really good point though too, and something that you don't really see a lot or hear a lot of people talk about, because when you see someone who has a crazy number of followers or subscribers, especially on YouTube, who's been putting out content for a while, like if you go back to the first video, it's not necessarily going to be the same, or might not even be their first channel. You never know, and it just comes with the fact that same thing with on the newsletter. Like I've pivoted the newsletter a few times over the last year and a half until I found, a style, a topic, and a niche that, I feel like I could talk about for a while. I always try to pick something where what's something that you could talk about for 5 years and not get bored of it. Not saying you have to stay with it for 5 years, but that's the way I like to frame it. Like, can I talk about this for 5 years and be cool with not making any money off it, but just talking about it? And that really helps put things in perspective. So I think you hit it like right on the nail on the head, as far as you just got to start, you got to experiment, and then double down on what you start to generate results.
Have you ever created content before you started doing your newsletter and the type of videos that you make now?
Yeah, so I'm gonna make myself look like a huge nerd, but back in 2008, 2007 and 2008, I used to run a YouTube channel, and I used to make AMVs because I love anime. So I used to make animated music videos. I was like, wait, these are so dope. This is back when like RIP DMX, but like if you ever seen Dragon Ball Z, it's always with like DMX in the background. But I started making those on YouTube, and I was happy. It was fun. Grew it to about 3,000 subscribers, and then stopped. And then I was running a hip hop blog in college, and then outside of college for a while, but a lot of writing. So writing and then like video content have always been like that I love. So those were my first foray into content, but I really stopped creating content consistently for an extended period of time. I would say probably like 8 years. Like every now and then I would write an essay, publish it, but consistently creating content this past year has been the first time where I've like over a year have consistently created content every week, a minimum.
That's how. Why did you stop? Like that sounds like 3,000 subscribers and all that. That's pretty good. That's enough to kind of motivate you to keep going. Did you just outgrow the anime phase, or what happened?
No, I still love anime. Like never outgrown that. I'd say the biggest thing is anime, like as far as in the animated music videos, like when I went into college and what I was doing was I loved video editing. So I wanted to edit videos, but that passion, that flame just kind of dwindled. So after a few years, it was like, I don't want to do that. I love talking about hip hop, rap, and at that time, blogs were huge. You had Two Dope Boys, Tumblr was blowing up, Complex, like that was the time when like having a blog was cool, and and it was just fun. So I did that, but the one challenge is, and this is why I love the creator economy, is that during that time in like 2012 and 2014, in that period, being a creator, being a full-time YouTuber, full-time podcaster as a career was like not. It would take some time. There was no way you were able to make a sustainable living right off the bat doing it. And by sacrificing creativity, I just focused on work, getting a job, and focusing on that. And then it was once the pandemic hit, and I really went headfirst into my entrepreneurial journey. I was like, listen, the only way to be able to close clients, build your brand, is going to be creating content. And that was something too, because I worked at VanerMedia, so something that I'm seeing Gary Vee do. I've seen the results firsthand of like create content, release it, and do it consistently. You do it right, people will start following, and you'll be able to start developing relationships, build your audience, and build your business. And it's just something that everything comes back around. Just didn't realize at the time, but I would love to think about being consistent from the day I graduated college to now, like over 10 years of just creating content. So we'll see how it looks over the next few years.
What did you do at VanerMedia? That sounds cool. Was it the LA? They have an LA office as well, right?
Yeah, they do. So I'm actually from New York. I just moved out here in July. So I was based at the New York office, and it was growth marketing. So the biggest thing was helping startups and SMBs grow their business with a heavy focus on like helping you acquire more customers, helping you retain customers. So heavy on the acquisition side, heavy on the customer retention side. And then the other aspect was I was working with a division called the Sasha Group, which was the startup within Vayner. So it was helping that part of it grow. It was a good time.
That sounds cool. Do you ever get to meet Gary Vee?
Yeah, a few times. He has a really good open door policy. Which is crazy because there are not too many places you work at where you have a one-on-one with the CEO and not worry about getting fired. So it was a good time. He's a good dude. Met him a few times.
That sounds cool. No, that was a big inspiration for me too.
Yeah,
because I've been following him probably since like 2016 or 2017. I started, I don't know, I remember probably some YouTube video recommendation or something.
sounds about right.
He's been amazing. I bought a couple books. I bought the Ask Gary Vee book and the newest one, Crushing It, or Crushed It. Yeah. Yeah. I wish I would have read the one in 2009. Was it 2009? The, what do you call it? Oh, Crush It. Yeah, the Crush It. The first one, with the green cover.
Oh yeah.
I wish I would have read that in high school. That would have been game changer. But yeah, like Gary Vee is just amazing, and everything he does is just like he basically says the same thing over and over again because he's right. Just putting in the work, having consistency, have a plan, make sure your content's valuable to people. Don't just vlog or make content for you. Make content think about the viewer, think about the consumer. What kind of issues are you solving? It makes you think, and sometimes you do need that motivation. I don't care how motivated you are, or if you're well driven. Like, I need motivation all the time, and he's one of the first ones I go to.
Listen, I always say LeBron is LeBron, but he has a coach. You know what I mean? Like, you don't ever I think a lot of people, especially now in like the business world, like, there's nothing wrong with coaching and like having like a circle around you or people that you look to for inspiration and motivation. Like, not every day is going to be like, let's get this bread. Some days you're going to need someone to, light that fire sometimes. So it's a good balance.
Do you have a personal coach, or do you like just find coaches through online, like as a non-direct coaching by watching other people do work?
I more so try to surround myself and try to build relationships with people who are 10 years down the line or 5 years, or, even same level, just like trying to continue to grow their business. But I just try to build relationships with people who I find smart and interesting and who I feel like have skill sets that I need to work on, and try to go that route. But I do think when you get to a certain point, you should have a coach, even if it's just like, you reach whatever milestone you set for yourself. So my coaches, I would say, are more people I build relationships with.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's really
yeah, sorry, there's a crazy background. I don't know if you can hear it, but they're doing some construction back here. Yeah, so what's some practical advice do you have for us for TikTok or Instagram, like some growth tactics, or how to create content for those platforms?
Cool. One I would say is get really good at reposting. So the first thing is that everyone, reposts their TikToks to Instagram Reels. But one thing I would say is test on TikTok. So test your content out on TikTok, Instagram Reels, and test it on TikTok, repost it to Reels, but also don't neglect YouTube Shorts. And I feel like one of the good things now that a lot of people are taking advantage of is every platform has stories or some form of short form video. You don't need to be married to one platform. Just take your content, distribute it across platforms, and just be consistent with it.
What's YouTube Shorts? What was our requirements for a YouTube Short?
So that they're still spotty on that, but usually if you use the hashtag shorts, you can like get pulled under into shorts, so it's not like just a horizontal video or like a vertical video with that weird horizontal background. But if you use hashtag shorts and it falls under 30 seconds, can fall into the YouTube Shorts category.
But how does that, like, I really don't know anything about it. So you just upload a video like regularly, or is there like a different app, or I really don't know?
Yeah, so you can upload it through your phone. on the YouTube platform, and when you use the hashtag shorts, remove the watermarks of anything if you had it, and it will fall under shorts. So it's in beta test right now. Sometimes it won't register as a short, but sometimes it does.
So it gets posted like a regular video on your channel?
Yeah, that's the better way to put it. So if it doesn't register as shorts, it just kind of looks like that weird. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's like a vertical video, but horizontal at the same time. Like,
Yeah. When you click full screen, it's like the vertical.
yeah. So they have it now where if it's a short, it'll just fall into the shorts category, which is only accessible via your phone.
Do you think that's gonna be like the future of video, like for the vertical version, or do you think we're still gonna be watching videos horizontal?
I think both are going to have a key role. So I think vertical is going to grow in importance, and your ability to tell good storytelling, create good content in a short vertical format isn't going away anytime soon. But sometimes you want to watch something longer than 15 seconds, 30 seconds. So I don't think horizontal video is going anywhere. But I do think vertical video is going to continue to grow in importance.
Yeah, I remember there was a conversation a few years back. I think it was when Instagram started posting, I don't know if it was stories or maybe it was IGTV. I think it was IGTV. People are saying you got to start switching to vertical because that's going to be the future. When you're on Instagram, you're looking at your phone in a vertical. When you're on YouTube, you're probably scrolling it like vertical. So it's like start creating content now. And I feel like that kind of died away, like the hype kind of went away, but I feel like we're still going to see an increase of that because kids today are growing up with phones. Like we didn't grow up with cell phones and YouTube and social media.
Wait, what do you mean? You don't know what I grew up with. You don't know how old I am now.
Well, I mean,
but you're serious. You're right. You're right. You're right on the money with that.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting with now you have 360 videos, or there's 360 mode, there's VR mode, like it just keeps evolving. I never really got into VR or 360 videos yet. That's something I never really getting into yet.
I haven't gotten into the VR, but and 360 I haven't, but I feel like I think VR and like AR, so augmented reality, I think those like video and media in that format will continue to grow, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. Like Oculus is cool and all, it's not there yet.
It's not practical. I think Google Glasses, they were trying to do glasses, you walk around, like that's an interesting theory. It might get to that point. I feel like sometime in the future. I just don't think we're there yet. But I just see augmented reality, like Pokemon Go type things, where things are popping into your desktop and in front of you. And if you have like the glasses, or I don't know, some Ready Player One type of world, that sounds fun.
No, listen, I mean the metaverse, right? So yeah,
that and cryptocurrency. Now we're gonna have you're gonna be paying everything online with crypto, and do you know anything about crypto?
I am not the crypto expert, but it's definitely something that I'm learning as I go. So it's like, as my friend says, like I'm building the plane while we're flying. But yeah, I think the crypto, cryptocurrency and like the ownership economy, it's really interesting, and it's something that I think like at this point, like you should be what we value and how we look at money is changing right before our eyes.
I think we're still so early with technology and these new platforms, and even YouTube. Like people are saying, I know it's hard. It's hard to grow on TikTok. It's hard to grow on Instagram, on YouTube. But I think we're still early. Like it's only gonna keep growing. It's still early for crypto. There's so much crypto. The value of crypto is going up, and the more exposure. But the average person still doesn't even know anything about it. Like they might have heard of Bitcoin, but they don't know about the other coin. You have people that are addicted to social media for different reasons, but I feel like there's still much more room to grow because, like I said, the younger generations are growing up with a world that's literally run through these networks. So it's not like it's going to slow down in the future. If anything, it's only going to just be part of life.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're really early. We're really early on the creator economy. We're very early on the ownership economy, so crypto and whatnot. And we're extremely early on the metaverse, or like that Ready Player One environment that you said. But the one thing I would say that you can do, you should be doing, is you should be building an audience, regardless if you want to be an influencer or not. It's going to help you get a job. It's going to help you do whatever you want in life. And you should be learning about crypto, right? Because you're right, the average person doesn't know, and I'll say the media doesn't do a great job on talking about it, but it's really helping redistribute wealth, and it's something that I think if more people were privy on, they would, especially the average person, they would really start getting their feet wet and diving in. But you're right, it's only going to get faster and pick up more and more. So don't get left out.
Do you think eventually people will get hired based on their social media? Well, people are getting fired already based on their social.
Yeah.
But as part of your resume, it's like, oh, I have this many followers on Instagram and TikTok. Here's my resume. That could be a thing for certain jobs, I think.
I mean, at this point too, especially when everything's become so like commoditized. So like when I say that, like you might not, what's the difference between one almond milk product and another? Like, they're the same, they get it from the same person, but it's all like that marketing and branding. And I think that's going to trickle into jobs as well. So what you see, especially on TikTok, is you always see like the guy at Arby's who's dancing that's got 1 million views. He has pull, he's bringing business to that location because people want to see if he's going to dance when they order their food. And at the end of the day, that guy who has 1 million followers on TikTok that's applying for that whatever job is going to get that attention versus that person who, while they might be good at the job, they don't have the followers. And the reason being is like you give direct value to the business, not saying the other person doesn't, but it's easier to see it when you have 1 million followers attached.
That's true. And it's also, I think if not, maybe they don't do it now, but if a company, they see that you grew a following or you're consistent with content, they're like, oh, when they commit to something, they do a good job or they're willing to work versus us, and I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that develops over time.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough cookie to crack, but I'll say that like your resume is virtual. Like you could have a LinkedIn, you could have a paper resume, but your social is what stands out. So, don't like downplay its importance.
Awesome. Okay. So before we take off, let us know where people can find your newsletter, your social media, plug in your stuff real quick.
Yeah. So you can find me at antoniogaryjr across all social. As far as my newsletter, www.antoniogaryjr.com. Check out the site, subscribe to the newsletter, follow me on social, and don't be afraid to shoot me a DM. I'll always respond.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll be subscribing to your newsletter and I'll definitely stay tuned for those. And thank you for coming on the podcast. Great conversation. We got to dive into some different topics. So maybe do it again sometime in the future. We'll catch up sometime, maybe later this year or next year and see where we're at and how your newsletter is doing and all that.
Next one we'll have to do in person.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do it. And thanks for having me. It was a good time.
Yeah, we're here in the Coachella Valley. If you ever come down, just let me know. I have the studio here, so we'll be doing some work. Okay.
All right,
thank you.